what you see me doing here is sifting the seed starting soil. We are going to start cabbages today, and I have two different types of cabbages. One of them is Golden Acre and the other is Copenhagen. The Copenhagen takes 4 to 7 days to germinate, and the heads are 3 to 4 pounds apiece at full growth. They do like full sunlight, and I'll put it this way, I don't know if my Copenhagens are even going to grow because I found old seeds on those. And I don't even know where they come from. And the Golden Acre cabbage, it's 7 to 10 days germination and 65 days to harvest, and the heads on those are 3 to 4 pounds also. And I am starting them in 2-inch soil blocks. I'm not going to try to do them in the micro soil blocks. I have found out that 2-inch blocks are just easier to work with. Not saying anything bad about the micro blocks because they're useful for certain seeds. I did make my soil a little too wet on this one, and that's why that's hanging over the edge, because I let some of the water just run out onto the floor. But I ended up planting 32 Golden Acre cabbages and 44 Copenhagens. My Golden Acre cabbage got 1 seed per 2-inch block, and the Copenhagen cabbage I just put 3 or 4 in there, and if more come up than one, I'll just burn them out. But since the Copenhagen seeds were so old, I don't think a lot of them will come up. And you can see I over wet that one. And you don't have to use the scraper on the bottom of those. You can use your hands if you want to level them out. And here I'm planting the Copenhagen seeds. So for about 44 of those blocks, it takes, I think they're 8 quarts of dry potting soil. So it's about a bag a tray for me, the way I've designed my trays. And you don't have to have homemade trays like I do. You can also use old cookie sheets, anything like plastic serving platters. Whatever you have to get the job done is what you can use. And now I'm covering those with vermiculite. And I did reuse some of my trays, so if they didn't look clean, that's because I had already dumped the old soil off from them and was putting fresh blocks on them. And here I'm going to wet down the vermiculite and I'm using a pump sprayer, and you don't want to pump it up too hard because it'll blow the vermiculite off the top of your blocks. So I just have it barely pumped up and it's not spraying very hard. And here is the golden acre cabbage. Don't forget to label your trays either. And here now I'm making the blocks to up pot my onions from the micro blocks to the 2-inch blocks. And I'm just using potting soil. This one's the yellow bag Miracle-Gro. And I did not sift this at all when I was doing this one. And I found out it worked the same from if I sifted or not sifted it. I didn't have a problem either way. And I actually left this part in there. I could edit it out. It was a fail. But not all your blocks are going to turn out pretty. Not all of them's going to turn out the right way. It doesn't matter if they're misshaped or not the prettiest looking. They'll get the job done either way. But when you do your up potting, you don't want to use seed starting mix. You want to have something with some nutrients in it because your seeds have enough nutrients for when they germinate and pop up. But when they get big enough and they need those nutrients, you need some soil with the nutrients added in. And you'll want to make sure you fertilize quite regularly. And you can keep them in the seed starting mix, you just have to fertilize more. if you want to know where I got any of this stuff, it'll be in the description box down below. Like I got the soil blockers from Amazon, the green mat is from Amazon. Um, the scraper, that's just from a hardware store. These are candy onions that I'm up potting here. And they come from Hoss Tools. And what I'm doing is just taking the label and using it like a spatula. And they're not really stuck on the tray, but it's lifting them up far enough that I get easier access with them with my fingers. And I'm not destroying the micro block. But I'm just sticking them in the little indention. And then I'll go back and press them down a little bit to make them fit a little bit snugger in the little blocks on top of the 2-inch. And when you do this, you need to make sure that your roots are all down towards the bottom or covered. Because I had some roots that were really long, so I made sure they were down under the micro block. And when I was done here, I don't show it in the video, but I did go through and water all these that I transplanted up into the bigger blocks. Here I'm just going through and pressing them down in the block. I'm running low on my homemade trays, so I had bought these last year, these seed starting trays off Amazon. And I bought them in a set, and I forget how much I actually did pay for them. They weren't much. But I'm going to switch over to use some of these to transplant some of my onions out of the micro blocks into these seed starting trays. So I guess it's a good year to compare which one does the best. And with these, I had filled the seed trays about halfway full, and then I put the micro block on top, and then I was going through and filling in with soil around it because I didn't fill them up quite full enough to have enough soil in them to cover everything. So I found it worked better if I just made the indention or filled them half full and then filled around them with soil. And before this video is done, you'll have a tour of the greenhouse, all the seeds I have started, and everything. So here's an update of all the seeds I got going on in here. Here's a thing of celery. And this tray, I have a few coming up here. This is a thing of strawberries. All those pots are strawberries back there. This is carrots I tried to germinate inside, and they did quite well. And they will be transplanted out here just shortly. There's the asparagus. Ooh. And it's all coming up quite well. Here's all the onions. And I've started transplanting a lot of them out of the micro blocks into the 2-inch blocks and the seed trays. This is cabbage I just started the other day, and another tray of cabbage. There's my other tray of celery. It'll be getting transplanted or up potted. And here's the pansies I started. I only had a couple of those come up, and those are getting ready to be up potted here within a week or so. And then I also started rhubarb, which I didn't do a video on. I just bought the rhubarb from Tractor Supply and brought it home, took it out of the package, put it in the pots. And then this entire side is full of nothing but strawberries. And if y'all are wondering what kind of soil I'm transplanting with, it is the Miracle-Gro potting mix. And that's a wrap for this video. If you like what you see here, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video if you want. There'll be plenty more coming out with trying to do a video every week. But thanks for visiting. This is Homesteading with Cody. Have a good day.